My name is Keith Cooper from Northlight Images. In this video I'm looking at the Epson P5300 or 5370 in the US, and I'm looking at making a black and white print on a Baryta sheet paper. Now the paper in this instance is one from Red River in the States. It is their Big Bend Baryta 310, and I'm printing this using the sheet feed on this, and I'm printing it from Epson Print Layout. Now I could print it from other software, I could print it directly from Photoshop, you could print from Lightroom, whatever you like. The key is though I'm using the ABW print mode, the black and white print mode for it. Now this particular paper, it's based on a sort of cotton type or fibre base, and it has a coating on top of it. It's not like the photo papers that have the plasticky paper underneath. It's quite a nice paper. I've looked at it elsewhere. I've created a custom profile for this paper. Now the custom profile I printed using the Epson Premium Glossy Photo paper type, worked out best for this one. You could probably use the Baryta one as well. I'm going to use the PGPP for this one because it's what I used for when I made the profile. Although I'm not using the profile, I'm just printing for this with the ABW mode. Now let's put the box out of the way. Now I'm going to load the print sheet first. The sheet goes in the top. Now if I set the width with the grooves here. Now when you're loading sheets on this particular paper, there is a roller underneath at the front, you can see that the paper slots under and it makes a distinct click when it goes into place. You'll need to load individual sheets. You can use thinner papers in the cassette here, and I've covered that elsewhere, but this, I'm just going to load this, and I push this down, meet some resistance, push, there we go, push it again, and there was that little click, and that was the paper going under the roller, and it shows you here on the screen. So I just click OK there. Now paper type Premium Luster, that's from when I was using it before. No, I don't want Premium Luster. Let's just touch that one. Let's go down. I need another paper type. OK that. Paper size is A3 plus or 13 inch by 19. So I'll say A3 plus there. OK. And you can see the paper just being drawn in. Print head will go across, it'll just check the paper size and check that it's the right paper. Now, you don't necessarily need to enter the paper type here and on the computer. I do it anyway, just more as a sort of belt and braces, just being doubly sure that I've got things right. I don't want to waste sheets of paper, and not doing this is one way of doing that. Now, the paper is loaded, I can see that. Now I need to go to the computer. Now this image is one I took when I was testing Hasselblad, if I remember rightly, and it's been cropped and it fits this. You'll see it's not the normal aspect ratio you'd expect from the Hasselblad, but I was using the tilt shift adapter. So I've processed it. It's a bit harsher than my normal black and white, but it's a scene that I've covered a lot. Now I want to actually set that I've got the right media type here, so I'll pick the same one here that I've got in that's Premium Semi-Gloss Photo. I'm using A3 plus, I'm using sheets. I'll set that, so that's manual feed sheet. I've got everything set there. I've got the size set right. I've got ABW. I don't need to set any of the fine adjustments on the ABW. With this particular printer on this paper, I know that I can use ABW as is to get a fairly good print. That's all I've needed to set. Paper type, paper size, feed, and the fact that I'm using ABW. And that's it. And I can just press print on that, and away we go. Now I'm waiting for the data to come from the laptop, and it'll come through. I've got a warning telling me that ink is low. Now the first ink in most of these, this is the same as when I tested the P700 and the P900. The first ink to go low is the light grey. Now that would suggest that if you're getting spare inks and you don't want to get a full set, the very first inks that you're going to run out is going to be light grey, and then looking at the levels, the ones light cyan, light magenta, vivid light magenta and grey are going to be the next ones to go, and then the other colours depending on how much sorts of printing. And it started. You see, it's going fairly, it's printing bidirectionally. There's no great quality improvement to be made by printing this with just unidirectional printing. Maybe if you're doing precision stuff and you've done the type of media alignment, that may help. But really, all I'm doing here is just loaded up a sheet of paper and going to print a picture on it. It's as simple as that. And the whole idea of this, these little videos that I'm doing, is really to show that each individual paper type or way of printing on different papers is pretty easy. The key comes in getting the image right to print in the first place. Printers like this make the mechanics of printing pretty easy. As long as you're methodical enough about it, and hence I said setting the paper type here and also on the computer as well. As long as you're careful about that, yes, you will waste a few sheets. Start off with a new printer like this. Start off on a relatively cheap paper. Don't start off as your first images printing on expensive roll paper or expensive sheets, A2 sheets. Start with smaller prints, A3, A4, and get used to doing that. It's worth it in the long run, because the idea is that making a print should be no more than finding the right sort of paper, loading it up, and away you go. All the real work has gone on in the photography and the editing. Now, there are some techniques that come in on printing and some tweaks and things to do to get really good prints, but the basics of it, there's nothing special. Tells me I've got 5 minutes remaining. Now, the time estimates on this, they're sometimes a little long on here, so if it tells you it's got 12 minutes remaining, you've probably got 10 minutes or something like that. I've noticed that it comes through, the print comes out, and it can still tell you it's got a minute left to print. Don't know what it's doing, but, well, there you go. Anyway, see the sheet going through, sheet coming out. It looks like just a fairly standard black and white print back from my film days. There is a subtle difference. If you get the light on it, you can actually see where the ink is slightly more reflective than the paper. If you're going to be doing a lot of black and white, it pays to choose your papers carefully. Do some test prints. I've got black and white test image, and look at how the gloss differential appears on the image. It can make a difference between something that really has, I hate to use the term, a darkroom look, and something that looks more obviously inkjet printer. Now, there is no bronzing at all on this. This has come out very well. The paper is doing its last bit of printing now, and there we go, it comes out. Now, this particular image was taken using the equivalent of a red filter. So it comes out rather nice. Now, as I recall, this image was actually processed using Nik silver effects, so it's got the equivalent of a strong red filter on it. The building itself, on the left-hand side, has got red brick tiles on it, and that comes out very light. That suggests a red filter because of how dark the sky is. But anyway, that is how simple it is to make a good black and white print. Where you will need to do the experimenting is to try with different papers to see that you get the finish, the look that you want. Now, this paper, there is no bronzing or anything. I haven't used the enhanced black overcoat. I've found in general that on many papers it introduces a bit of bronzing and it doesn't give any great benefit. It's worth experimenting with, maybe better on some papers. I've not seen it. Now, as I say, I've got a black and white print here that feels like it. I could have produced something like this in the darkroom. If I had, it would have been a lot more effort. It would have taken me a lot longer. And yeah, my fingers would smell of chemicals, no doubt. But anyway, that's it. Simple black and white print produced. As I say, I've used Epson print layout, but you could print from anything. The key is the ABW print mode. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. I'm going to be doing a few more of these short videos to go with the written review covering different subjects. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Cheers.